Kalkadosh Boker Or Beki'im BaHalacha 7. Siman Kuf Samechet 168, day 21, page 45, Halacha Nun Vav 56. Today we're going to be speaking about dough, which is going to be baked on a skillet, crepes, right, and Malawa and Mufleta. So today we have got a jam-packed. Yeah, we're going to speak about crepes versus pancakes, kubane, pita breads, wraps and tortillas, jahnun. Yeah, so let's start. No, let's start speaking about it, and then we'll explain one by one. We'll show us a picture. So number one, halacha number one. Okay, 56, nun vav. When we're talking about a dough which is going to be cooked on a skillet without oil, which is basically in a machvat without shemen, without oil. So it's like afiyah. It's like baking it. But remember, we said that if it's going to be deep frying, it's lechuli alma, considered cooking. But if it's going to be shallow frying, so then it's going to be a machloket. But here, if it's without any oil whatsoever, so that's like baking. So you're going to make the bracha v'motzi mikat hamazon. However, though, if you just apply a thin layer of oil, just that way it should be the bek, so that's not considered, right? It's not nothing. That's considered 100% baked. Okay? So any dough that you put on the machvat is considered baked. What about crepes? Crepes, or here it says blinches, or crepes. שנעשו באופן ששפך עיסה נוזלית לתוך מחבת רחבה והעיסה מתפשט בתוכה, ברכתם מורה מן המזון על המחיה ואפילו קובע סעודה עליהם. So he says here, since it's going to be בלילה רכה, you remember we spoke about that it's going to be very runny, very liquidy. The batter is very, very liquid. Oh yeah? Yeah, okay, so it could be this. So he says if it's going to be very, very runny, so it's borei min mezonot and al michya, and even if you're going to be kovea suda, it's still going to be, right, the same halacha, okay, the same thing. So let's see them in 261. Maran and the Shulchan Aruch describes two foods called teruknin and tarita. Flour and water would be stirred together and poured into a depression on the oven's surface and left to bake. The teruknin require the borei min mezonot and shalosh. And if someone eats an entire meal's volume, he has to say motzi bekad hamazon. To make tarita, okay, what we're going to say, they stirred flour and water together and poured it on the flat surface of the oven. This product does not resemble bread at all. Therefore, it requires the blessing of Rimin Mizanot, even if you eat an entire meal's volume of it. So we could derive from this that if the food product becomes thick and in that way resembles bread, you need motzi bekad hamazon. If someone eats an entire meal's volume of it, if a food product is very thin and therefore does not resemble bread, it never requires a motzi, no matter how much you're going to eat of it. So, for example, mufleta, right? It never resembles bread. Is anybody going to tell you that the mufleta? You know what mufleta is, yeah? Right? Is it going to be bread? Doesn't exist. Yeah, you with me?
Sweet.
Not only because sweet. You make it sweet.
The dough is sweet.
No, even if you don't.
Because it's fried and because it's crusty.
Yeah, but it's fried not with real oil. Meaning you don't put a whole bunch of oil to make a mufleta. You hardly have oil there. Yeah. Well, you make it sweet anyway. You put the honey or you put the... Fine. Okay. Yeah.
So why is it?
One second. See the comments of the Magen Avraham and the Biur Halacha. Some Achronim, including the Magen Avraham and the Bach, disagree with the Maran and rule that if someone eats an entire volume, he has to say Elam Tzibik Adamazon. Mishnah Berurah described the food commonly made in Prague using a watery batter. The batter is poured onto a hot metal surface, and another metal plate is lowered on the first one for a few seconds. The result is a thin, fragile, cracker-like product. This food does not require the blessing of a motzi, even if you eat an entire meal of it, because it's like tarita. It doesn't resemble bread. So to me, it doesn't look like bread. This is nothing. Mufleta is not a bread. 1 minute before lafal. We're going to get to lafals, right? So he says one would imagine that this should be the halacha regarding crepes as well. However, if there is so, right? If this is so, there's going to be a contradiction in rulings of Mishnah Berurah. He says why? He wrote in Magen Avraham cited the opinion of the Bach right? That if someone wishes to eat an entire meal's volume of tarita, he has to say Moti Mikadamazon. If so, why did this rule that when eating the Prague crackers, you say mezonot regardless how much you're going to eat? It could be that Mishabra decided in favor of the Shulchan Aruch against the Bacha, and since the Magen Avraham Giborim decided in the favor of the Shulchan Aruch. Therefore, in this case, he did not mention the other opinion. What about lachuch? What's lachuch? Ken? Okay. It's a pancake-like food. Yeah. Yemenite Jews. So let's see. Yemenite Jews make a pancake-like food called lachuch, pouring a thin batter onto a skillet. It comes out like a thick, airy crepe. But it's thick. Nachon, it's a No, kacha. Ken. Since it's thick, it's comparable to teruknim. Therefore, requires boremim mizanot. But if someone has a full volume meal, it's a motzi. We're going to speak about jachnun afterwards. Okay. אז כמו wraps, אבל יותר עבה מ-wraps. Okay, fine. This is the ruling of the, you're going to look for it in shotas. This is the ruling of the response of Olat Yitzchak. The Lachabra ruled that if the lachuch is cooked on a wide skillet that allows the batter to spread as far as it can, then even if you do eat an entire volumes, it's boremim mizanot, comparing it to tarita. So it does look like it looks like interesting. Meaning it looks like a wrap, but just it's airy. Meaning there's like a lot of holes. Show everybody. Yeah, take it, pass it around. You can move around the pictures there. Yeah, just a very airy.
Pancake fiber, but it's no sweet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Crepes versus pancakes. Since crepes are very thin, the proper blessing is not. And even if someone is going to eat an entire meal, pancakes, however, are much thicker than real crepes, especially if they're cooked in a waffle iron. Okay, and therefore he comes and he says they are similar to terkunin, and therefore if someone eats an entire meal's volume, must recite the blessing of Hamotzi. The Pisket Shuvot likewise differentiate between crepes and pancakes in the same manner. So one more time. Also crepes and also pancakes are both mezonot. The only difference is going to be when do you start making, do you make hamotzi or not? So again, the pancakes, since they're thicker, right? So therefore, if you're going to eat the volume, meaning like a meal's volume, you do make hamotzi, but crepes not. What about the jachnun? That's what you asked about? Yeah, jachnun. So this Yemenite food is made out of ordinary dough. So this is ordinary dough, okay? Mixed with oil. It's cooked overnight, often steamed over another pot of food, and the flavor of the oil is dominant. Therefore, the correct blessing is boremim mizanot. And even if you're going to plan to eat an entire meal of jachnun. So here it's because the oil is mamash inside of the dough. Okay, what about kubane? What's the kubane? מה זה? This is the kubane? Interesting. אבל זה נראה כמו עוגה. כאילו, זה לחם, אבל זה נראה כמו עוגה. Oh, wow. It says like this Yemenite dish is likewise basically dough mixed with oil. It's cooked in a pot with a tightly fitting lid so that the oil cooks it up. Interesting, but it's cooked. Therefore, it's boremim mizanot even if you plan to have the full meal. So אפילו אם אתה רוצה לאכול לא יודע כמה מזה, זה עדיין מזונות. תמיד מזונות. תמיד מזונות. באמת? Huh? Here, show it to them. Yeah. Pita breads. Yeah. Pita breads. The Or Letzion stated. Yeah. Pita breads. The Or Letzion stated that there's no question that the correct blessing for pita bread is Amotzi Mikad Mazon. This is true even regarding Iraqi pita bread. which is hard and crunchy, but not enough for it to be considered Bata B'Kisnin. See above Halacha 24. There are soft spots in the Iraqi pita bread as well. And this is the bread upon which Iraqi Jews based each meal. Pita breads were the only breads available in Iraq, Syria, Morocco, and those countries. The spongy breads of the Western society were unknown. See below 210.4. Okay, so basically just pita, regular pita. We're not talking about pita chips. We're talking about pita breads. So let's next. What about wraps and tortillas? So let's see. In recent years, the wrap has become a popular item in the United States. Its appearance, texture, and taste are identical to flat pita breads, except the wrap is a bit thinner. It's used to make sandwiches of meat, tuna fish, vegetables, etc., and it's convenient and more healthful, right, form of fast food. A regular size wrap has a volume of 1.5 times kizait, while the larger size is a regular size wrap has the volume of 1.5 times kizait. Well, the larger size is 1.5 kabetza. Because I read 1.5, 1.5, because I'm like, well, what's the difference? It's the exact same. Yeah, so it's basically... So our friend, Mr. Joseph Bibi, yeah, Hashem Yishmereu V'Hayeu, yeah, asked us to clarify what is the correct blessing for the wrap, since he heard conflicting opinions on the matter. We researched the subject thoroughly, examining it from every possible halachic angle. Conclusion. In all probability, the correct blessings for a wrap are hamotzi and bikat hamazon. Yeah? Nevertheless, there is some room to argue that the correct blessings would mean mizanot. By the way, if you want to get out of the machlokot, you buy the wraps which are already mizanot. They sell them in the small packages and big packages, but they sell small ones and big ones. That in the dough already, it's already sweet. So it says on the package, birkato b'remin mizanot. First of all, it's belila ava. Lafa is hamotzi. No, this is much thinner. This is much thinner. This is much thinner. It's much thinner. Middot. It's much thicker. So the lafa for sure. So he comes and he says like this. Therefore, a God-fearing person will make sure to say hamotzi on ordinary bread before eating the wrap and bikat hamazon afterwards. If someone wishes to eat an entire meal's worth of the wrap, there's no question that he has to say hamotzi and bikat hamazon. If the wrap would be made of dough mixed with oil and sugar and the flavor is noticeable when eating the wrap, then again it would be Mura min Mizanot and min Shalosh, just as the Rishon LeZion ruled regarding pizza dough. The Or LeZion defined defined the distinction. The blessing becomes Mura min Mizanot if the dough tastes sweet because of the sugar. Sometimes a bit of sugar is added, changing the flavor of the bread, but not making it noticeably sweet. In that case, it's still considered bread. It is important to publicize this ruling, since many people think that it's fine to grab a wrap from a fast food restaurant, say Borei min Mizanot, and run, eating it without netilat yadayim and without a bikat hamazon. In Mexico and Latin America, tortilla breads are made out of corn and eaten in the same manner as a wrap. The correct blessing for this is shakol niya b'divram nefashot. Tortillas marketed in the United States, though, are made out of ordinary flour and therefore have the status of a wrap. Meaning, right, depends what you're getting. You understand? Depends exactly what you're doing. So, tortilla wraps, right? So therefore it's going to be shakol, it's made out of corn. But if it's going to be made out of wheat, so then it's going to be hamotzi. You understand? So therefore it's not that, if it's made out of wheat. Now again, here, the reason why he's saying it is that, I don't know if you remember, we thought that since it was still so thin, it was belila raka. But if you remember, we went and we did it simichat chaver, we watched the video of how they make the wraps, and it's 100% regular dough. It's 100% regular dough. And then belila raka means a runny dough. Because when it's very runny, when it's very liquidy, so therefore it's very airy, very holy, like crepes and all those things. And the mufleta is all those things, right? And you see, what? Mufleta is very runny. What, the mufleta? The mufleta is very liquidy. I don't know. We do it very liquid. Okay. Okay. So fine. So there. So maybe I'm talking about the crepes then. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's hamotzi.
So if I get a wrap.
No, not Mexico. He said outside Mexico. Outside Mexico. Chutz mi Mexico.
If I get a wrap from the carrot right now, I have to make also.
That's what he said. Last halacha, nun chet. המופלטה. אתה רואה את ההבדל? המלאווח. Yeah, you're listening. Hamalawach and Mufleta is borei min mezonot, and if you're going to be kovei suda, it's hamotzi. So here it says, based on the discussion in the previous footnote, the proper blessings for Mufleta is mezonot. Mufleta is flour, water, yeast, and a bit of oil. The skillet is greased to prevent sticking as well. Since the flavor of the oil is readily noticeable, it becomes mezonot. Furthermore, the batter is soft and almost pourable. I told you, the batter is soft and almost pourable. Mufleta. He says that the batter is pourable, right, and soft. No, but almost pourable. You know what almost pourable means? שכמעט אתה יכול לעשות ככה, וזה... לא? לא יודע, ככה הוא כותב פה. אולי אנחנו עושים... Not completely liquid, but almost pourable. Almost pourable, זאת אומרת, זה לא כמו קמח רגיל.
With the dough from the
כל שמן על איפה הסטארטר, ואתה פותח אותו, ואז...
It's a lighter dough.
No, but it has to be a lighter dough. It cannot be... If someone eats an entire meal of the food, however, he has to say a motzi. Malawach is very similar to Mufleta, but it contains more oil. Halacha for both of these foods are the same. And see the halacha.